Approved. Su Wanqing slid the resignation letter back toward me. Eyes still fixed on her computer screen. I froze. 7 years. I thought there'd be at least a Y. There wasn't. Then, about the handover. Talk to Wang Jia. She cut me off. Voice flat. Tidy up your current tasks. You can leave by the end of the month. The end of the month. 12 days from now. I nodded. Okay. As I turned to leave, my hand on the doorknob, she suddenly called out, Guziyu. I looked back. She finally lifted her head, glancing at me. That look was distant. Like she was looking at any other employee. 7 years. It's time you thought about your own future. Yeah, I said, after the door closed. I stood in the hallway for a moment. The Annie from the pantry peeked out, then quickly ducked back in. My phone buzzed. A voice message from my mom. I converted it to text. 3 girls lined up for this weekend. Pick one to meet first. No dawdling. I stuffed the phone back in my pocket and headed to HR to pick up the resignation form. When I got to the reason for leaving section, I thought for a moment, then wrote 4 words. Personal development. Looking down from the 22nd floor, the evening rush hour traffic looked like a red river. I'd spent 7 years in this building. Packing up and leaving would probably take just one afternoon. My phone buzzed again. This time, a WeChat message from Su Wanqing. Short, 5 words. Don't be late tomorrow. I glanced out the window. It was dark now. Lights were flicking on one by one across the street in the opposite office tower. 7 years. Time to think about my own life. I wasn't late the next day. Arrived at 7:40 a.m. Brewed the coffee. Booted up the computer. Reviewed the meeting materials for the day. Su Wanqing arrived at 9. On her desk sat a perfectly tempered Americano and a sandwiched whole wheat bread. Light on the sauce. Extra lettuce. She paused at the doorway. Aren't you leaving? Why still doing this? Habit, I said. She didn't reply. Picked up the coffee and took a sip. Wang Jia stopped by around 10 to discuss the handover. A veteran in administration. She looked at me with a hesitant expression. Xiao Gu, you're really sure about this? Sure. She sighed, lowering her voice. Su Zong stayed until 11 last night. Since you left, she's gone through several assistants. None lasted. I kept sorting files, saying nothing. Wang Jia continued. 7 years. You even know when her stomach acts up. Who's going to manage after you're gone? She'll get used to it. Wang Jia looked at me, then finally just said, make the handover list detailed, and left. At lunch, Mom messaged again, this time with the profile of a potential match. 27. Works at a bank. Parents are civil servants. The photo looked demure. In the voice message, Mom's excitement was barely contained. This girl's got great qualifications. Her mom's from my square dancing group. I told them you work at a big company. That's why they agreed to meet. Hurry up. You have to meet her this weekend. I replied with a simple okay. During the afternoon meeting, Su Wanqing lost her temper. A rare occurrence. She was dissatisfied with the marketing proposal. Even after its 3rd revision, everyone in the conference room kept their heads down. No one dared speak. I don't want this kind of corporate jargon. She snapped, slamming the file onto the table. Her voice wasn't loud, but it was ice cold. If all you can write is nonsense, anyone could do this job. Silence stretched for a few seconds. I spoke up. Su Zong, have them redo it based on last week's direction. Deliver by tomorrow morning. I can review the data first. Su Wanqing looked at me, pausing briefly. Fine, she said, turning to the marketing team. On my desk by 9 tomorrow. Meeting adjourned. Once everyone filed out, she leaned back in her chair, closing her eyes to rub her temples. The coffee's cold, she murmured. I brewed a fresh cup. When I brought it back, she suddenly said, Who's going to make my coffee after you're gone? The new assistant can learn. I said. She said nothing, taking the cup and sipping. Her expression gave nothing away. That night, I worked overtime until 9, organizing 7 years' worth of work notebooks. Flipping to a calendar from my 2nd year, I saw her schedule packed into every box. Meetings, social engagements, personal appointments, which day she had a dentist appointment, which day she'd visit her hometown, which day to order birthday gifts for her parents. 7 years. Every date filled with her name. I closed the calendar and tossed it into a drawer. WeChat pinged again. This time, Lin Shuer, Su Wanqing's best friend, and the only person who could joke around with her like that. She sent a question mark, followed by a voice message. Assistant Gu, is it true you resigned? Wanqing drank with me last night, shot after shot, saying nothing. Took me ages to get it out of her. Said you handed in your notice. You too. Everything okay? I typed back. Nothing. Personal reasons. She replied instantly. Oh, please, someone like her? Drinking alone over personal reasons? I didn't respond. When I finished packing up, the building was nearly empty. Alone in the elevator, I caught my reflection in the mirror. Looked a little unfamiliar. My phone buzzed again. A WeChat message from Su Wanqing. No text, just a location pin. A Japanese restaurant near the office, followed by a message. Dinner engagement tomorrow night. Come with me. Last time. I stared at the screen for a long moment before replying with one word. Okay. But I knew it wouldn't be the last time. Just like 7 years ago, when I first met her, I told myself, It's just a job. Just a job. I'd been to that Japanese restaurant many times, always opening the car door for Su Wanqing, trailing behind with her bag, sitting closest to her, ready to pay at a glance. This time, she said, just sit beside me. No need to block drinks. The man across from us was in his 40s, supposedly a partner at some investment firm, surnamed Zheng. He spent the whole time boasting about his connections, his eyes drifting towards Su Wanqing every so often. Su Wanqing maintained a polite smile throughout, handling him with practiced ease. I sat nearby, pretending to be invisible behind my phone. When I heard Mr. Zheng mention knowing some big shot for the 8th time, Su Wanqing picked up her glass, took a small sip, and set it down. Mr. Zheng, let's discuss the project another day. Consider tonight a meet and greet. Mr. Zheng was clearly displeased. He poured another glass and pushed it toward her. Su Zheng, how can we talk business if the drinking hasn't hit the right note? Come on, one more. Su Wanqing smiled faintly. Got an early meeting tomorrow. Really can't drink more. The glass hung suspended in midair. The atmosphere turned stiff. I stood up and took the glass. Mr. Zheng, Su Zheng's stomach is delicate. Allow me. Mr. Zheng looked me up and down, expression souring. And you are? Driver, assistant. Su Wanqing interjected. Tone cool, though he'll be leaving soon. I downed the drink. Mr. Zheng grunted and dropped the subject. When settling the bill, Su Wanqing walked ahead. I followed. A night breeze swept past. She glanced back at me. You didn't need to do that. Habit. 0.7 years. Guziyu. What else do you say besides habit? I stayed silent for a moment. What about you? I asked. 0.7 years. And you still haven't learned to refuse a pour? She froze, saying nothing. I drove her home. She lived in an apartment complex east of the city. I rented west. Opposite directions. The car idled outside her building. She didn't get out. Guziyu. Yeah. How do you think? These past 7 years, I only ever saw you as an assistant. Inside the car, silence stretched for a few seconds. Light from a street lamp spilled through the windshield, illuminating her profile. I know you saw me as a useful assistant, I said. She turned to look at me. Her lips parted slightly, as if to speak. Then she pushed open the door and stepped out. See you tomorrow. The door shut. I sat in the car, watching her figure disappear into the building lobby. My phone screen lit up. 11:20 p.m. One new WeChat message. From Mom. Saturday, 2 p.m., Starbucks on Xinghai Road. Don't be late. The girl's name is Chunyu. Be serious about this. I replied. Okay. Saturday arrived quickly. The Starbucks on Xinghai Road was crowded. I got there 15 minutes early, snagging a window seat. Chunyu was prettier than her photo, wore a beige trench coat, smiled with faint crinkles at the corners of her eyes that not unflattering. The conversation flowed smoothly enough. She asked where I worked, what I did. President's assistant. I said, wow, impressive, working right under the boss. It's all right. How long have you been there? 0.7 years. Chunyu's eyes lit up. 0.7 years? You must have amazing chemistry with your boss. Why suddenly think about switching jobs? I took a sip of coffee, still figuring out how to answer, when my phone buzzed. Caller ID, Lu Xiang. I declined. It buzzed again. Declined again. Buzz. Again. Chunyu smiled. It's fine. Answer it. Might be urgent. I picked up. Lu Xiang's voice blasted down the line, loud enough for Chunyu to hear. Bro, where are you? Guess what Su Zheng just told me? I lowered my voice. Busy. Talk later. Busy my ass. You're on a blind date, aren't you? Bro. Listen. Su Zheng had me look into someone. That blind date girl of yours. She dug up her entire background. Chunyu, mid-sip, froze, the cup hovering near her lips. I stood up, walking toward a corner. Lu Xiang. Shut. Don't hang up. Bro. Even bigger news. Su Zheng just posted something on Moments. Guess what? What? A photo of an engagement ring. Caption ready. I stood in the corner of the Starbucks. Phone pressed to my ear. Brain short-circuiting. Then, my voice sounded dry. Then she deleted it. Lu Xiang chuckled, but Lin Schwetter screenshot it. Bro, I'm telling you. Su Zheng's about to stir things up. Just then, my WeChat vibrated. Not Lu Xiang. Su Wanqing. She'd sent a location pin. Starbucks. Xinghai Road. Followed by, don't move. Instinctively, I looked out the window. Across the street, a white Porsche was parked at the curb. The door opened. Su Wanqing stepped out, wearing a black coat. Bro, you still there? Lu Xiang was still yelling in my ear. Call you back. I hung up and returned to the table. Chunyu looked up, expression subtle. Company business. Yeah. Before I could sit, the cafe door swung open. When Su Wanqing walked in, at least 5 or 6 heads turned simultaneously. She wore a black, double-breasted coat. High heels clicked steadily against the wooden floor. She scanned the room, gaze landing on our table. Then she walked over. This must be Miss Chunyu, she said, standing beside the table, tone polite, even smiling. Hello, I'm Guziyu's boss. Su Wanqing. Chunyu blinked, startled, then quickly stood to shake her hand. Su Zheng. Hello. Su Wanqing sat down opposite Chunyu, gesturing for a waiter, ordered an Americano. Everything seemed natural. Like a chance encounter. I noticed the bulge in her coat pocket. A small box. Assistant Gu has worked at our company for 7 years. Excellent employee. she said to Chunyu, wearing a standard professional smile. Sorry to interrupt your weekend. Just happened to be passing by and needed to discuss a work matter with him. And no, it's fine, Chunyu said, visibly flustered. Go ahead with work. No need. Su Wanqing cut in, turning to me, tone unchanged. Change in Monday's board meeting. Need you there earlier. Okay. Her coffee arrived. She picked it up, took a sip, and frowned. Not as good as when you brew it. Then she stood, nodding at Chunyu. That won't disturb you further. Total time, under 3 minutes. But Chunyu's expression had completely changed. After Su Wanqing left, we sat in silence for a bit. Chunyu stirred her coffee, then suddenly laughed softly. Mr. Gu, that's Su Zong. She's more than just your boss, isn't she? What do you mean? When she came in, she looked at you twice. Once at your face, once at your hand. That wasn't a boss looking at an employee's date. That was a woman looking at a rival. I didn't know what to say. Chunyu was nice. As she left, she turned back. Mr. Gu, if those 7 years weren't wasted, don't waste them now. The blind date was thoroughly ruined. Walking out of Starbucks, I saw Su Wanqing's car still parked across the street. She sat in the driver's seat, phone pressed to her ear, likely on a call. I didn't approach, turning instead toward the subway station. My phone buzzed. WeChat from Lin Shuer. Assistant Gu, were you on a blind date today? Wanqing just called me. Beat around the bush asking if you were having coffee with a girl in a beige trench coat. Hilarious that she thinks she hides it well. Who can't see it? I didn't reply. Nearing the subway entrance, my phone buzzed again. This time, a voice call from Su Wanqing. I hesitated for 2 seconds before answering. Where are you? Her voice was calm, but wind noise in the background suggested she was outside, heading to the subway. Silence for a moment. Guziyu. Yeah, come back here. I stopped. Across the street, the white Porsche still idled, hazard lights blinking. She stood beside it, the hem of her coat fluttering in the wind. Something else? I asked. Yes, important. I hung up and walked back. Up close, I saw her makeup was slightly smudged, eyes a little red. Windburn. Or tears. You cried. No. She turned her face away, getting into the car. Where to? My place. I froze. My place. Your mom's been nagging you to find someone. Right. She opened the passenger door, tone casual, like discussing the weather. I'll go back with you. Meet her. I stood rooted. Su Wanqing slid into the driver's seat, hands on the wheel, looking at me sidelong. What? Think I'm not presentable enough? Su Wanqing. I used her full name for the first time in 7 years. Do you know what you're doing? I know. Then tell me, what are you doing? She didn't answer. Her hand went into her coat pocket, pulling out that bulging little box, placed it on the center console, a deep blue velvet ring box. My breath hitched. Then her phone rang. She glanced at the screen, expression shifting, answered, listened for less than 10 seconds, hung up. Zhao Mingyuan, she said to me, voice reverting to that cool tone, that he wants to have dinner tonight. Says there's important business to discuss. The car's atmosphere chilled instantly. Zhao Mingyuan, a name I'd heard countless times. A rich second-generation heir, real estate developer, had been pursuing Su Wanqing for at least 2 years. Rejection never deterred him. He had endless tricks. Are you going? I asked. Su Wanqing started the engine, the roar filling the silence. First, your place. After that, his. The car merged into traffic. Cityscapes streamed backward outside the windows. The ring box sat on the console, glinting under passing streetlights. I stared at it, mind looping one question. What does this mean? My phone buzzed. A WeChat message from Lu Ziong. Bro. Did some digging on Su Zong's reaction post-resignation. Even Lin Shuer says she's never seen her like this. Yesterday, she blocked Zhao Mingyuan. Today, she unblocked him. Read between the lines. Bro, I glanced at Su Wanqing's profile. She focused on driving, expression giving nothing away, only her knuckles, white on the steering wheel. As the car entered my residential compound, dusk was settling in. Mom was busy in the kitchen. Dad watched TV in the living room. Hearing the door, Mom burst out, spatula in hand. Why didn't you say you were coming? She froze, seeing Su Wanqing behind me. Su Wanqing stood there, coat still on, offering a polite smile. Hello, Auntie. Hello, Uncle. Sorry for the unannounced visit. Her smile was professional, appropriately poised. But Mom's spatula nearly hit the floor. This young lady is. My boss. I said. Su Wanqing added. Surname Su. Su Wanqing. Dad muted the TV. Mom recovered faster than I expected, tossed the spatula into the wok, wiped her hands on her apron, and plastered on the standard smile I'd seen aimed at potential daughter-in-law candidates. Oh, Xiao Su, come in, come in. Xiao Yu has never brought a colleague home. I thought he was just a quiet wallflower at the office. Didn't realize his boss is so young and beautiful. Su Wanqing changed into slippers, sitting on the sofa. I poured her water. When she took it, her fingertips brushed the back of my hand. Cold. Mom bustled in the kitchen, leaning out between stirring to pepper us with questions. Xiao Su, what dishes do you like? Busy with work, I bet. Do you have a boyfriend? At the last question, Su Wanqing paused mid-sip. No, she said. AI, such a wonderful girl. What? Mom rushed out of the kitchen. Then she spotted the corner of that blue velvet box peeking from Su Wanqing's coat pocket. Her eyes lit up instantly. Xiao Su, a girl your age should think about personal matters. Our Xiao you might be clumsy-tongued, but he's honest and takes good care of people. Mom, I cut in. Wrong. He took care of you for 7 years. Anyone can see that. The living room fell silent for a beat. Su Wanqing lowered her head, sipping water. Silent. Dinner was lavish. Mom practically emptied the fridge. Throughout, she kept heaping food onto Su Wanqing's plate. Su Wanqing smiled and thanked her, but her chopsticks moved sparingly. Dad was unusually talkative, asking about her industry. Company size. Su Wanqing answered each question, tone neither humble nor arrogant. Midway through the meal, her phone rang. She glanced at it, the smile on her face freezing for a fraction of a second. Excuse me, need to take this. She walked onto the balcony. I heard her lowered voice. Da Zhao Zong. Afraid I can't make it tonight. Reschedule. Yes. Sudden matter. All right. Another day. Returning. Her smile was back, but I noticed her grip on the chopsticks tightened. After dinner, Mom insisted she stay longer. Su Wanqing said she had business. Would visit again. Mom walked her all the way downstairs, holding her hand. Xiao Su, come often. Next time, Auntie will stew pork rib soup. Xiao Yu says your stomach's delicate. My soup is good for that. Su Wanqing blinked, looking at me. You told her. Work records. I said, you have a stomach condition. Can't eat spicy. Can't drink. Can't have coffee on an empty stomach. She said nothing. As the car pulled out of the compound, darkness had fully fallen. She drove without speaking for a while. Where to? I asked. Back to your place. Weren't you going to see Zhao Mingyuan? Not going. Don't feel like discussing business tonight. The car merged onto the elevated highway. City lights spread out beyond the windows. The heater hummed, making me drowsy. Guziyu. Yeah, your mom's cooking was delicious. She was off her game today. Usually not this salty. Su Wanqing smiled. Not a polite smile. A real one. Fine crinkles at the corners of her eyes. First time I'd seen her smile like that. 7 years. She said. Every day. Breakfast. Coffee. Scheduling. Remember what you liked to do on my birthday. 3 years ago. Yeah. That day, I worked overtime till 11. You waited downstairs. Brought me a bowl of wontons. They were cold. She said. You said they were still delicious. The car exited the highway, turning into my lane. Old neighborhood. Several streetlights were busted. The motion sensor light in the stairwell was dead too. She parked, left the engine running. Aren't you going to invite me up? I turned to look at her. Her expression was hard to read in the dim glow of the dashboard, but her voice was taut. Some things, better not said in front of your parents. I was silent for a moment. Okay. Going upstairs, she followed. The stairwell was dark. Her high heels clicked slowly on the steps. I illuminated the path with my phone, listening to her footsteps echoing one by one. At the door, I fished out my keys. The apartment wasn't large. 1 bedroom, 1 living room, tidy enough, but compared to her penthouse, it was another world. Su Wanqing stood in the doorway, scanning the room. You live in a place like this? Big enough. She walked in, sitting on the sofa. The ring box was still in her coat pocket. A small bulge. Guziyu. I need to tell you something. I leaned against the door frame, looking at her. She took a deep breath, hand diving into her pocket, feeling for the box. Then her phone rang. She glanced at the screen, complexion changing. Who? I asked. My mom. She answered. Listened for a few seconds. Her voice abruptly shifted pitch. When did this happen? I'll be right there. She hung up, standing, face pale. My dad fell. Hospital. I'll come with you. She looked at me, nodded, going downstairs. Her high heels clicked urgently on the steps. I reached out, steadying her arm. It was rigid beneath my grip. The car plunged into the night, heading toward the hospital. Inside, silence except for the GPS. Her hands gripped the wheel, knuckles white, as if she'd crush it. He'll be okay. I said. She didn't reply. After a long while, she spoke, voice soft. Guziyu. Yeah. If tonight. If Dad hadn't had this accident. She paused. There was something I meant to tell you. What? She didn't answer. The car turned into the hospital parking lot. She killed the engine, unbuckled. Then her hand brushed her coat pocket. The blue velvet box tumbled out, landing on the passenger seat. At my feet, she froze. I bent to pick it up. The box was light, a classic brand from an old established jeweler. What is this? I asked. Her face was indistinct in the parking lot's harsh white light. Her lips moved, as if to speak, but no sound came. Then she turned, pushing open the car door. First, see my dad. She strode quickly toward the ER, coat flapping in the night wind. I clutched the ring box. Standing there, my phone buzzed. A voice message from Lu Xiang. I played it. Bro, latest intel. Suzong went to a jewelry store this afternoon. Got a fan working there. Said she tried on 7 or 8 rings. Finally bought a classic style. Guess which one? Men's or women's? Silence around me. I looked down at the box in my hand. Men's. From the ER came the squeak of gurney wheels. Someone shouting, "Make way." Wind gusted, chilling the back of my neck. I gripped the ring box and walked toward the emergency building. Su Wanqing's father had slipped in the shower. Hairline hip fracture. Not fatal, but required hospitalization. When I reached the ward, Su Wanqing stood by the bed, talking to a doctor. Her mother sat in a chair, eyes red. Seeing me enter, she blinked, startled. "This is Auntie." "Hello, I'm Suzong's assistant. Guziyu." Su Wanqing's mother looked at me, gaze lingering on my face for a second before shifting away. "Assistant? Oh, thank you for the trouble." The doctor said observation for a week, then surgery. Su Wanqing kept nodding, expression composed, but I saw her hand trembling around the medical chart. After the doctor left, the ward fell quiet. Her father was awake, lying in bed, spirits decent. "Wanqing, go rest tonight. Just a fall, not a big deal." He said that I'll stay here tonight. Su Wanqing said, "No need. I've decided." She pulled a chair beside the bed, taking out her phone to make calls, coordinating a private room with the hospital, scheduling tomorrow's tests, notifying the company to cancel Monday's meetings. After arranging everything, she put the phone down, leaning back in the chair. First time I'd seen that expression on her face, the look of someone propping themselves up for too long. Finally faltering, I went to the vending machine at the end of the hallway, buying 2 cans of hot coffee, handing one to her. She took it, but didn't drink, just cradling it in her hands. "Go back," she said. "It's late." "I'll stay with you." "No need." Su Wanqing. She looked up at me. "7 years. Every time you say no need, I end up cleaning up anyway." She fell silent. Around 2 a.m., her mother finally agreed to lie down in the rest area after my persuasion. Only she, I, and her father's steady breathing remained. Su Wanqing sat in the chair, burying her face in her palms, for a very long time. Then her shoulders began to shake, barely perceptible, if not for moonlight streaming onto her back. I might not have noticed. I walked over, crouching beside her. "Wanqing." She didn't lift her head, voice muffled in her hands. "I thought he'd die, but he won't. Just a fracture." When Mom called, her voice was panicked. In the car, I kept thinking, if he just left like that. She paused. "A daughter like me. Can't even spare time to share a meal with him." "You made time," I said. "Went home 3 times last month, only because you cleared all my meetings." I stayed silent for a moment, sinking onto the floor beside her. The ward was quiet, save for the steady beep off the heart monitor. My dad's a sanitation worker," I said. She lifted her head, looking at me. Mom's a supermarket cashier. They spent every penny they had putting me through college." I toyed with the empty coffee can. "Reason I interviewed at your company 7 years ago wasn't because it was a great firm, because you paid the highest salary." She said nothing. "Never told you any of this in 7 years. Not ashamed, just figured you wouldn't care." I cared." She suddenly said, "You know that." "You don't know." She turned to look at me, eyes red but dry. "You think I just got used to your care? Think these 7 years. I only saw you as a useful assistant. Then what am I to you?" The ward door suddenly swung open. A nurse entered with a blood pressure cuff, spotting us sitting on the floor. Paused for a second. Patient needs BP check." I stood, pulling Su Wanqing up. Her hand was icy, fingers clamped around my wrist with unnatural force. After the nurse finished and left, Su Wanqing still held my wrist. "Guziyu," she said. "Yeah, earlier, downstairs at your place. I said there was something to tell you." "What?" She released my hand, looking up at me. Light from the corridor spilled through the door crack, illuminating her face. "Your resignation letter. I never signed it." I froze. "The form you submitted to HR?" I halted it. Wang Jie thought I approved it, but I tore up that paper. So these past 2 weeks, I was stalling." She said. "Stalling for a day, counting it as a win. Stalling until you figured things out, until you didn't want to leave, until I had the courage to say it." "Say what?" Her phone suddenly rang. She glanced at the screen, a flicker of irritation crossing her face. "Zhao Mingyuan." She answered, hitting speakerphone. Zhao Mingyuan's voice was jarringly loud in the quiet ward. "Wanqing, heard your dad's in the hospital. I'm on my way. Already en route. Wait for me. I'll arrange the best specialists." "Zhao Zong." Su Wanqing cut in, tone reverting to that businesslike chill. My father needs rest. Not suitable for visitors. Appreciate the thought, but no need to come." "How can that be? Our relationship. Your dad is my dad." "Zhao Zong." She inhaled deeply. "What exactly is our relationship?" Silence on the other end for 2 seconds. "Wanqing, don't be like this. All these years, you know my feelings. Get rid of that goo guy. Come work with me. Want for nothing. What's a female CEO doing dragging around a male assistant everywhere?" He didn't resign. Zhao Mingyuan paused. "What? Didn't he hand in his notice himself?" I tore it up. Another pause. Zhao Mingyuan's tone shifted, losing its earlier warmth, laced with coldness. "Su Wanqing, don't be ungrateful. We're all in the same business circles. If you turn on me over some hired help, Weigh the consequences yourself. Su Wanqing let out a soft laugh. Soundless, devoid of warmth. Zhao Zong, since we're laying cards on the table, I won't hide either. That stunt last year, secretly acquiring 2 upstream suppliers, then serving me breach of contract notices the day before my product launch? I won't pursue who advised you, but threatening me with my own people now? That's just tacky. Zhao Mingyuan's breathing grew ragged. What else do you know? More than you imagine. Su Wanqing's voice dropped lower. Like last November, that who funded those online rumors about Wanqing Group's capital chain collapsing? Like when you poached my 3 core tech staff whose pocket paid their relocation fees. The ward was so quiet you could hear the drip of fluid. Zhao Mingyuan was silent for a long while. Su Wanqing. His voice was glacial. That you're really dead set on opposing me. Zhao Zong. Su Wanqing leaned back in the chair, her voice eerily calm. Evidence exists for every underhanded move you've made against me these past years. Never went public because we operate in the same circle. I left you 3/10 leeway. She paused. But now you're threatening my people. Those 4 words landed. Not heavy, but each driven in like a nail. Then there's nothing left to discuss. 10 full seconds of silence on the other end. Zhao Mingyuan's final words were sinister. Fine. Su Zong. Very fine. Since you won't show respect, don't blame me. Su Wanqing ended the call. Quiet returned to the ward. She slipped the phone back into her pocket. Leaning back, eyes closed, I stood nearby, still clutching the ring box. Then she opened her eyes. Looking at me. You asked what I see you as. She stood, walking to me. All those things Zhao Mingyuan did every single time he struck. And it got blocked. Who do you think blocked it? I said nothing. You think I only saw you as an assistant? 3 of those 7 years. I slept less than 5 hours a night. When the company faced internal strife and external threats, who stayed by my side? Who handled the messes I didn't want to touch? Who, when I was breaking down, said nothing, just placed a cup of hot coffee on my desk. Her voice rose half a notch, then dropped again. You think you have the right to resign? She reached out, taking the ring box from my palm, opened it. Inside lay a simple platinum band, men's size, inner band engraved with a line of script. She held it out to me. Ordered 3 months ago. Her voice finally carried a tremor, but she held it back. Meant to give it to you last month for your birthday, but you handed in your notice. I lowered my head, reading the inscription. Dim light, but clear enough. For words, 7 years. No itch. Goozy you. Her voice was soft. No need to trouble your uncle arranging dates. There's a ready-made option right here. I looked up, meeting her eyes. They were rimmed red, but no tears fell. She held the ring steady. 7 years. I took the ring, sliding it onto the ring finger of my left hand. Perfect fit. You know I'm not worth much. I said, then make me coffee for a lifetime. Okay. She blinked, seemingly surprised by my immediate agreement. Then she laughed. Not a polite, professional, business laugh, a slightly foolish laugh. She reached out, gently patting my cheek. All right, ring's on. Stop standing there. Go buy me a bowl of wontons. Hot ones. But it's 2:30 a.m. So. I turned to leave. At the door, she called again. Goozy you. Yeah, from the moment you resigned until now. Something I've wanted to ask. Why did you leave? I gripped the doorknob, not looking back, because I felt I didn't deserve you. Silence behind me for a long time. Then her voice drifted over, soft but steady. Then you never asked me if I felt I deserved you. When I returned from the 24-hour convenience store with 2 bowls of wontons, Su Wanqing was asleep at the edge of the hospital bed, her hand resting on her father's, brow slightly furrowed. Breathing shallow. The green light of the heart monitor blinked, making the ward feel submerged. I set the wontons on the table, sitting down beside them. Outside, the sky was beginning to gray. The city was waking. I looked down at the ring on my finger. Simple band, unassuming, but heavy. My phone buzzed. A WeChat message from Lu Ziong. Bro, is Su Zong with you? Lin Schwenner says she can't reach her. Freaking out. What happened tonight? I replied. Her dad fell. In hospital. Stable now. Lu Ziong replied instantly. Fracture? Scared the hell out of me. What about Su Zong? How is she? I glanced at Su Wanqing asleep. Replied. Just fell asleep. Lu Ziong sent a string of periods. Then typed. Bro, you're never escaping this life. I've already packed your bags. Prepare to move into Su Zong's penthouse. I didn't reply. The wontons cooled. I reheated them in the microwave borrowed from the nurse's station. Bringing them back. Su Wanqing was awake, sitting rubbing her neck. Seeing me enter, her gaze lingered on the ring on my left hand for a second. Reheated. Got cold. She picked up the bowl. Ate a spoonful. Skin's tough. Beggars can't be choosers at 3 a.m. She ate another spoonful, saying nothing, but I saw the corner of her mouth twitch. Like a smile. After dawn, Su Wanqing's mother returned from the rest area, shooing us out. Su Wanqing refused to leave until her mother physically pushed her toward the door. Go shower. Look at yourself. People will think you breathe patient. In the car, Su Wanqing leaned back in the passenger seat, eyes closed. About Zhao Mingyuan. I'll address it clearly at Monday's board meeting. Need me to do anything? No. She opened her eyes, staring at the roof. You've done enough these 7 years. I'll handle what's left. I drove to her apartment building. She unbuckled but didn't exit. What about you? She suddenly asked. Anything you want to do? I thought for a moment. Go home. Tell mom. Tell her what? Those blind dates she arranged. I'm not meeting a single one. Su Wanqing looked at me, then pushed open her door. Come to the office tonight. Today's Sunday. So no need to be punctual. She paused, but I'll be waiting. I drove back to my rental, showered, changed. Mirror reflection looked no different than yesterday, except for the ring on my left hand. Mom's 2 new voice messages sat unopened on my screen. Suddenly, a knock at the door. I opened it. Lynn Schwetter stood there, in workout clothes, hair a mess, looking freshly roused from sleep. Assistant Gu, she said, expression complicated. Heard about last night. Came to check on you. I'm fine. Didn't ask you. Lynn Schwetter brushed past me inside, flopping onto the sofa. She eyed me up and down, gaze landing on my hand. Rings on. You guys move fast. She ordered it 3 months ago. Lynn Schwetter blinked, then covered her face, letting out a long, muffled laugh. This Su Wanqing buried it deep. 3 months ago I asked if she liked you. Know what she said? Don't overthink. He's just my assistant. Well, look at you now. Assistant turned fiancé. She finished laughing, expression turning serious. Assistant Gu, know how many times Zhao Mingyuan called Wanqing last night? Point 5. Called the office 2 a.m. Demanded the duty admin connect him to Su Zong. Admin didn't dare refuse. Lin Schwerer pouted. Guy's desperate. Desperate for what? Lin Schwerer looked at me, as if gauging if I was playing dumb. Assistant Gu, really don't know why Zhao Mingyuan's been chasing Wanqing so hard. For her. For money. Lin Schwerer leaned back, tone turning grave. Zhao Mingyuan's dad's real estate firm? Capital chain issues last year. Deep in debt to the banks. They want a marriage alliance with Wanqing, so Su Corp guarantees their loans. If Su Corp refuses, the Zhao family ship sinks this year. Seeing no reaction from me, she added, that's so you know the pressure Wanqing endured refusing him? His dad leveraging every connection to pressure her. Industry gossip calling her unreasonable, ungrateful, kept her up nights. But she never told you. Why not? Because she was afraid you'd step in for her, and she didn't want you dragged into it. Lin Schwetter stood, patting my shoulder. But now you are dragged in. So, what's the plan? I didn't answer, but she didn't seem to require one, just looking into my eyes, saying earnestly, treat her well, someone with pride that lethal. If she's willing to take 99 steps, you damn well better take that 100th. After Lin Schwerer left, I went to the kitchen, opening the deepest drawer in the cabinet. Inside sat an old phone, replaced 3 years ago, never thrown away. I plugged in the charger. After a moment, it powered on, scrolling through SMS history. Top was a screenshot from 2 years ago. News of Zhao Mingyuan sending flowers to Su Wanqing for the first time. Back then, annoyed, I'd used my own channels to investigate his company. Afterward, saved screenshots of key evidence. Later, every underhanded move he made against Su Corporation poaching staff, spreading rumors, coercing suppliers. I investigated. Saved it all on this phone. Never told Su Wanqing. Felt it wasn't an assistant's place, but I did it anyway. I picked up my current phone, scrolling to a long and used number. Contact. Lawyer Jiang. He sounded surprised answering. Brother Gu? Long time no see. Lawyer Jiang. If convenient, I have some materials I'd like you to review. What materials? Regarding certain business practices of Zhao Real Estate. From a legal standpoint, potentially involving unfair competition, commercial defamation. Lawyer Jiang was silent for a moment. Zhao Mingyuan's firm. Yes. You sure about moving against him? His local connections run deep. Could stir up major trouble. I know. Another pause, then a soft chuckle. All right, send it over. I'll review carefully. Though, why the sudden interest in investigating him? I switched the phone to my other ear, glancing at the ring on my left hand. Family matter. Lawyer Jiang paused, then gave a meaningful murmur. Understood. Leave it to me. Hanging up, I put the ring back on, pushed open the door, and headed toward the office. Sure enough, Su Wanqing was in her office. On a Sunday, hers was the only lit office in the entire building. She sat at her computer, changed into casual clothes, hair loosely tied, on the ring finger of her left hand. A new ring glinted under the fluorescent light. That women's style. Matching mine. Here, she said without looking up. Yeah, still some things to handle. I sat on the sofa, opening my laptop. Screen lit up. New emails in the inbox. One from Lawyer Jiang. Subject line, solid, Monday morning. Su Wanqing wore a navy blue pantsuit, hair pinned up, clicking into the conference room in high heels. I sat to her left. Directors filed in. A few familiar faces blinked upon seeing me. 1. Director Zhou. Couldn't help commenting. That didn't Assistant Gu resign. Not the case. Su Wanqing flipped open a folder. Tone flat. Assistant Gu was merely on leave. Now resumed duties. No one questioned further. The meeting proceeded per agenda. At the 4th item, Su Wanqing closed the folder, adding a temporary agenda item. She stood. Regarding Zhao Real Estate's unfair competition against Su Corp over the past 2 years, I will be submitting litigation documents to the court today. Evidence is prepared. The boardroom stilled for a moment. Director Zhou spoke first. Su Zong, shouldn't we deliberate this? The Zhao family has deep roots locally. Offending them rashly could jeopardize future collaborations. Uncle Zhou, I'm not soliciting opinions. Su Wanqing looked at him, merely informing the board. Director Zhou opened his mouth, then closed it. After the meeting adjourned, whispers echoed in the hallway. I heard someone mutter. Su Zong's aura is different today, like she's been bottling up something huge. Another replied, didn't you notice? New ring on her finger. By 3 p.m., the litigation documents were officially filed. News traveled fast. Around 4 p.m., Zhao Mingyuan's call hit my phone. Assistant Gu. His voice seethed with suppressed rage. What the hell are you playing at? Su Wanqing's lost her mind, and you're following suit. Zhao Zong, I'm not Assistant Gu anymore. Then what are you? I leaned back in my office chair, voice steady, not loud, that I'm Su Wanqing's fiancé. Silence on the other end lasted a full 10 seconds. I could almost hear the abacus beads in his brain shattering. He'd chased Su Wanqing for 2 years, banking on a strategic marriage alliance, never realizing he'd been racing against an Azura. So, Zhao Zong, I continued, every move you made against Wanqing these past 2 years, that poaching staff, spreading rumors, coercing suppliers, that I have evidence. What do you know? Who can prove I did any of it? You think you can trace it to me? Zhao Mingyuan's voice dropped, laced with disbelieving scorn. A mere assistant. What power do you wield? Zhao Zong, you can doubt it, but I suggest you don't jump to conclusions. That mere assistant you speak of, perhaps if you asked around different circles, you'd get some surprising answers. Zhao Mingyuan froze. I didn't give him time to react. Last November, those 3 core tech staff you poached via headhunters? The relocation fees you offered. Which shell company under your name funded that? Want me to cite the financial records? Or those 2 upstream suppliers you bribed? The transfer receipts dated the day they served the breach notices? Should I read out the receiving account numbers? I'm sure they're quite familiar to you. His breathing grew ragged. Who exactly are you? 7 years ago, you hired me as an assistant. You didn't ask who I was then. I paused. Now, you're hardly in a position to ask. I ended the call. I packaged all evidence from the old phone, emailing it to lawyer Jiang. CC'd Su Wanqing. Minutes later, Su Wanqing emerged from her office. She glanced at her phone screen, then at me. These things. When did you start doing this? 2 years ago, when you first rejected Zhao Mingyuan. She looked at me, silent. No need to thank me. I said, consider it paying back 7 years worth of coffee expenses. She walked over, picking up my coffee mug, glanced inside. Cold, I'll brew you afresh. No need. She lifted the cold coffee, taking a sip, grimaced. Still, cold tastes better. 3 days later, Zhao Real Estate was placed under investigation. News hit the financial wires. Headlines were restrained, only mentioning suspected unfair competition, but industry insiders knew what it meant. Su Wanqing fielded calls all day, some probing for info, some offering olive branches, others who'd backed Zhao Mingyuan now scrambling to distance themselves. To each, Su Wanqing had the same reply. Regarding Zhao Zong's matters, I won't comment. However, all collaborations between Su Corp and Zhao Real Estate are terminated effective immediately. Evening came. She was finally done. Only she and I remained in the office. Tired? I asked. Not tired. She leaned back on the sofa, rubbing her temples. Then she tilted her head slightly, gaze settling on me. That look wasn't a boss scrutinizing an employee. It was an unguarded assessment, like examining something she should have recognized long ago. Just feel. Cheated. Cheated how? 7 years, she said. Spent 7 years waiting for you to find your courage. Ended up having to do it myself. Outside, city lights sprawled like an ocean that never went dark. That doesn't matter. I said, from now on, you don't have to do anything alone. She said nothing, reaching for my coffee cup, taking a sip, grimaced, setting it down. Too sweet. You used to like sugar. That was the past. After a moment, she said, tomorrow, come with me to try on wedding dresses. Tomorrow's Tuesday. You have 3 meetings. Cancel them all. Okay. She stood, walking toward the door. Clicked 3 steps in high heels, then stopped. One more thing. What? Move in tomorrow morning. I froze. Su Wanqing. Isn't this workplace harassment? She glanced back, expression neutral, but a glint of amusement in her eyes. No, you resigned, remember? You said you tore up the letter. Then consider it me firing you, then rehiring you. Same position, same responsibilities. Contract revised to permanent tenure. The door clicked shut behind her. I sat on the sofa, looking down at the ring on my finger. My phone buzzed. WeChat from Lu Xiong. Bro. Heard Zhao Mingyuan got chewed out by his old man. Drunk tonight, cussing you out at a banquet, calling you a lunatic. Said a lowly assistant overturned the entire Zhao family. Followed by, someone told him straight to his face that lowly assistant he mocks? The Azura who made 3 Wall Street short sellers fold. Zhao Mingyuan smashed his wine glass on the spot. Final message. Bro. You hit it deep. Even I got fooled that I didn't reply. Setting the phone down, Outside, wind scattered the clouds. 7 years. The day Zhao Mingyuan's fate was sealed. Su Wanqing's father underwent successful surgery, recovering well. Her mother cornered me in the hospital hallway, gripping my hand. Xiaogu, I didn't know about you and Wanqing before, but Wanqing told me later. These 7 years, you've been caring for her, blocking every wave for her. Our Su family owes you. One wedding won't repay it. Auntie, it's already enough. The wedding was set for the following month. Su Wanqing said no need for grandeur. It just invite close friends and family. But once news spread, we received over 300 RSVPs. Thesis your idea of not too big. I flipped through the replies. What could I do? Su Wanqing, mid trying on a wedding dress, adjusted the straps before the mirror. You took down Zhao Mingyuan. Now the whole circle wants to see who exactly managed to marry Su Wanqing. That's so how are you introducing me? She turned. The skirt of the dress pooled in a vast white circle on the floor. Guziyu, my fiancé. She enunciated each word. Once my assistant, now my beloved. She paused, adding, permanent tenure. The wedding day dawned clear. Lu Xiang burst into the hotel suite first thing. Su'd ask you, tie backwards. Bro, nervous? I'm more nervous than you. So many people out there. Dare not go out. I straightened his tie for him. Thought you're a singer. Played to 80,000-seat stadiums. Afraid of this. Thought that's different. Today's my brother's wedding. Lin Schwerer pushed open the door. In a pale yellow bridesmaid gown. Looked at me. Expression unusually solemn. Guziyu. Ready. Ready. Then let's go. The banquet hall wasn't massive, but decorated with care. White hydrangeas trailed from the entrance to the head table, lighting tuned to a warm amber, like evening sunlight. Su Wanqing stood at the far end of the floral arch in the dress she'd tried on for 3 months, holding a bouquet of white roses. Her father sat in a wheelchair, insisting on walking the whole way himself. She said no need. He wouldn't listen. That my daughter's getting married. I'll crawl if I have to. So she looped her arm through his, walking slowly, step by step. Each step, her father paused. She waited beside him, murmuring, take your time. Hundreds of pairs of eyes watched her. She looked straight ahead, at me. When she reached me, her father placed her hand in mine. The old man's hand trembled slightly. Voice quavered. Xiaogu, my daughter's in your hands now. Rest assured. Uncle. Su Wanqing stood before me, makeup flawless, eyes burning bright. Lin Schwerer emceed, grabbing the mic, eyes reddening first. I'll say this up front. It's not my wedding, but I might cry before the bride does. Laughter rippled through the crowd. Su Wanqing smiled too. In her eyes, none of the iceberg CEO chill remained. Just a fire 7 years in the making. Finally unhidden. The ceremony was simple. Exchanging rings. She picked up the men's band, looking at me. This ring, I ordered 3 months ago. Know what's engraved inside. You'll see once it's on. That I saw. I said, 7 years. No itch. Right? 7 years. No itch. She slid it onto my finger, and it's permanent tenure. Someone in the audience started a chant. That kiss. Kiss. Su Wanqing glanced at them, then rose on her toes. Her lips were soft, tasting faintly of sweet lip gloss. Cheers and applause erupted. Lu Xiang whipped out a guitar from somewhere, launching into an improvised love song. S.O. off-key. Lin Schwerer covered her ears. After guests dispersed, we sat in the empty banquet hall. She kicked off her heels, bare feet sinking into the carpet. The wedding dress skirt fanned out in a white circle. Tired? I asked. Not tired. She leaned against my shoulder. Just feels unreal. What feels unreal? 7 years. From the day I first interviewed you to now. She closed her eyes. That if someone told me 7 years ago I'd marry the guy brewing coffee by the door, I'd have called them insane. What do you think now? Now I think those 7 years were the best decision I ever made. Fireworks erupted outside. That's someone else's celebration. Blooms of gold scattered across the night sky, spilling through the floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating her profile. Guziyu. Yeah, thank you for not leaving. I clasped her hand in mine. Rings chimed softly against each other. That I won't leave. I said, but didn't I sign a permanent contract? She laughed, real crinkles at the corners of her eyes. Remember the contract terms? What terms? Fresh brewed Americano before 7:30 a.m. No sugar. Temperature, neither scalding nor lukewarm. And no leaving work before me. Overtime warrants hot wontons. Don't talk back when I lose my temper. But tell me what I did wrong after I cooled down. And she lifted her head, the amusement fading from her eyes, replaced by earnest, unguarded tenderness. From now on, no facing anything alone. The fireworks roared outside for a long time. I looked down at her. 7 years ago, in the interview room, I first saw her, sitting behind a long table, flipping through my resume. Asked, that you're here for the assistant position. Back then, she was younger, colder. 7 years passed. Fine lines at her eyes, deeper furrows between her brows. But now, leaning against my shoulder, lashes lowered, lips parted, she looked like someone who'd finally dropped the mask. Su Wanqing. Yeah, something I never told you. What? During that interview 7 years ago, you wore a white shirt, one button missing from the cuff. She blinked. How do you remember that? Because I secretly sewed it back on later. I said, found it on the conference room floor. Borrowed needle and thread from the logistics Annie. Did a shoddy job. Probably never noticed. She was silent for a long while. 7 years. Why never say anything? Because saying it wouldn't sound like an assistant's place. She looked at me for a long time. Fool, she said, voice soft. From the moment you sewed that button, you weren't just an assistant. The fireworks finally faded. Only the low hum of the AC remained in the hall, mingled with distant clinks of staff clearing glasses. She stood, bare feet padding across the carpet, extending her hand. Thought, let's go home. Okay. Walking out of the banquet hall, Lu Xiang and Lin Shuer waited by the door. Lu Xiang still had his guitar. Seeing us, he strummed a chord. Happy wedding, bro. Lin Shuer stood beside him, eyes pink-rimmed, but quipped. All right, you two. You've traumatized every single person here. Su Wanqing released my hand, walking over to hug Lin Shuer. Thanks. For what? Everything. Lin Shuer blinked, hugging her back tightly, whispering something in her ear I couldn't catch. In the car, I asked what Lin Shuer said. Su Wanqing was silent for a moment. She said, congratulations. Finally, no need to pretend anymore. Outside, the city streamed backward. Neon light washed over the car interior in segments. I gripped the wheel. She rested her hand on the back of mine. Guziyu. Yeah. Don't forget tomorrow's coffee. Won't forget. What about the wontons? In the freezer. Shepherd's purse and pork. She leaned back, eyes closing, a tiny curve to her lips. Ahead, a red light. I stopped the car, glancing at her. She was already asleep, breathing steady, lashes casting faint shadows on her cheeks. Green light. I eased onto the accelerator, driving toward home. After listening to the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next up is another similar story. Let's continue reading. I'm Lu Yuan, an ordinary office worker. If I had to name something extraordinary about me, it would be my arch-nemesis, Su Qingqian, a billionaire Ice Queen CEO, the infamous Demon Queen of the industry. We've been at each other's throats from university to the workplace. No room for both of us. Where I exist, she doesn't. Where she exists, I don't. But recently, this Demon Queen seems to have malfunctioned. The way she looks at me keeps getting weirder. Until that day in the conference room, right in front of everyone, she lunged at me. She actually tried to kiss me. Lu Yuan, did you do this proposal with your feet? That icy voice, like a venom-coated icicle, stabbed deep into my ears. I looked up and met the expressionless face at the head of the table. Su Qingqian, president of Dingfeng Group, and our biggest competitor at Tianxin Group. 26 years old, yet with an iron fist, she'd carved a bloody path through the business world. My arch-nemesis for a full 8 years since college. Director Su, if there's a problem with the proposal, point it out. Personal attacks aren't necessary, I said, forcing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. Point out problems. She let out a cold snort and slapped the file onto the table. But it's nothing but problems. Is this the level of Tianxin? Looks like you don't want this year's market share after all. In the conference room, both teams held their breath. My colleagues were pale. Her people wore expressions of amusement. I took a deep breath, suppressing my anger. Director Su is right. We'll revise it. We're the ones asking for this cooperation. Revise? Su Qingqian raised an eyebrow, her disdain undisguised. I'll give you 1 hour. Here, now. If it's not fixed, everyone from Tianxin can get the hell out. Fuck, I cursed inwardly, but kept the smile plastered on. Fine, 1 hour. This woman was still the same. Relentless, aggressive. Just like in college. I opened my laptop, fingers flying across the keyboard. The only sound in the room was the clatter of keys. Time ticked by. I could feel that icy gaze pinned to my back, like a burr. Finally, at 58 minutes, I was done. Director Su, revised. I turned the laptop toward her. Su Qingqian didn't speak, just stared at the screen, line by line. Her brows furrowed, then smoothed, then furrowed again. The atmosphere was even more oppressive than before. Everyone's heart was in their throat. After a full 5 minutes, she slowly looked up. Everyone expected another outburst, but this time, her eyes were strange, no longer sharp and scrutinizing. Instead, how to put it, a little dazed, a little longing. I startled myself with the thought. Longing? What was Su Qingqian longing for? To flay me alive? Lu Yuan. She suddenly spoke, her voice slightly hoarse. Director Su, your instructions? You? She opened her mouth as if to say something, then swallowed it back. Her cheeks seemed to flush an unnatural red. The AC was blasting, yet fine sweat beaded her forehead. Director Su, are you all right? Too tired. Wang Pengzi, my partner beside me, asked cautiously. Su Qingqian ignored him, eyes still fixed on me. That gaze grew more wrong by the second, like a wolf, starving for 3 days, spotting a juicy piece of meat. And I was that meat. Every hair on my body stood on end. Director Su, I ventured. Come here. She crooked a finger at me. I told you to come here. Her tone brooked no argument. Reluctantly, I stood and walked over. Step, stopping before her desk. Director Sue, your orders. She didn't speak, just looked up at me. Up close, her skin was flawless, porcelain white, beneath long lashes. Those eyes that usually held glaciers now seemed like melted spring water, swirling with an emotion I couldn't decipher. Her breathing quickened. Warm breath puffed against my face, carrying a faint, pleasant scent. The atmosphere turned surreal. Director Sue, if the proposal is acceptable, we'll take our leave. Before I could finish, Su Qingxian shot to her feet, faster than lightning. A fragrant breeze hit me. The next second, my tie was in her iron grip. Her entire body pressed against mine. Shit. My soul nearly fled. The room fell dead silent. Wang Pengzi's thermos cup clattered to the floor. Every jaw dropped, wide enough to fit an egg. Sue. Director Sue, what are you doing? I panicked, trying to pry her hand off, but her strength was terrifying. I, a man over 6 feet tall, couldn't break free. Lu Yuan, she whispered in my ear, her breath hot silk, laced with fatal temptation and pain. She didn't finish, because her face was already slamming toward mine. Those red lips that usually spat venom were now aimed with single-minded force at my mouth. Insane. This demon queen has gone completely insane. In a flash, I summoned every ounce of survival instinct. My head snapped back. Thud. The back of my skull cracked against the wall. Pain brought tears to my eyes, but better that than being kissed by her. Su Qingxian's kiss missed. Her lips grazed my chin. Warm, soft. I froze solid. Time stopped. Su Qingxian was stunned too. Her grip on my tie loosened slightly. The daze and longing in her eyes vanished, replaced by shock, confusion, and utter, humiliated rage. What did you do to me? She shoved me away violently, her voice shrill, trembling. I stumbled, nearly falling. The pain in my skull and the absurdity left my mind blank. What did Ito? Su Qingxian, are you fucking mental? I finally roared. How dare you? Her face cycled through red and white, her pointing finger shaking. She glanced at her stupefied subordinates. Instantly, her eyes regained their usual icy ruthlessness. Meeting adjourned. With that, she grabbed her bag, didn't spare anyone a glance, and stalked out in her high heels. That retreat looked distinctly like a rout. Only when her figure vanished did the silence shatter. A collective explosion of noise. Holy shit, what just happened? Was Director Sue really going to kiss Brother Lu? No way. The demon queen, throwing herself at someone. Brother Lu, you're a legend. You actually landed the Ice Queen. My colleagues stared at me like I was a deity. Her team looked equally shell-shocked, their worldviews crumbling. Only Wang Pengzi rushed over, checking the back of my head. Bro, you okay? That was some knock. Need a hospital? Then he leaned in, whispering with vulgar excitement. Damn, bro, you're a wizard. Did you put a voodoo curse on Su Qingxian? The way she looked at you, like she wanted to devour you. I ignored him, my mind a chaotic mess. That scene replayed on loop. Su Qingxian's stricken gaze, her scorching breath, the soft brush of her lips against my chin. I shivered. What the actual fuck was happening? Su Qingxian, who'd rather grind my bones to dust, try to kiss me? Was she mad? Or was I? Or was this some new humiliation tactic? But that look of shame and fury at the end, it wasn't an act. She'd scared herself too. A control freak. Losing it publicly like that. It must have felt worse than death. But why? Why me? Our relationship was practically a blood feud. In college, she was student council president. I led the Student Associations Federation. Natural rivals. We fought over resources, venues, everything. I reported her for abusing power. She ratted me out for sneaking booze off campus. Postgrad, she joined her family's Ding Feng. I joined Tianxing. Our companies became sworn enemies. Over the years, we'd clashed on countless projects. The grudge ran deep. She was the last person I ever wanted to see. I was sure the feeling was mutual. For her to suddenly want to kiss me? Not unless the earth exploded and the sun rose in the west. Bring my phone. Unknown number. Frowning, I answered. Hello. Lu Yuan. That icy voice. I nearly dropped the phone. Su Qingxian, calling me voluntarily. What is it? I went instantly on guard, my tone cooling. This afternoon's incident. Not a word of it leaves this room. Commanding tone, tinged with unmistakable embarrassment. Say what? That Director Sue lost control mid-meeting and tried to gnaw on someone. I couldn't resist the jab. Lu Yuan. Her voice spiked. Mortified fury. Are you looking for death? Likewise. I shot back, unyielding. Director Sue, what exactly do you want? Having fun toying with me? Or is Ding Feng rolling out new tactics against Tianxing? Silence on the other end. Several seconds passed before I heard her voice, weary and irritable. I'm not toying with you. It wasn't some new tactic either. Then what? Don't tell me you actually develop feelings for me. The words made me nauseous. In your dreams. She sounded like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, instantly exploding. Lu Yuan. I warn you, stay away from me. If I'm anywhere, you better not show up. Those words should come from me. I sneered. Director Sue, you read one who can't keep your hands or mouth to yourself. Now you're blaming me. She was speechless again. I could almost picture her, green-faced with rage, unable to retort. A twisted sense of satisfaction bloomed in me. Seeing the demon queen flustered was rare entertainment. Regardless, remember this. Today never happened. If I hear a single word from anyone else, I'll make sure you never work in Shinching again. Click. She hung up. I listened to the dial tone. Dazed, threat, or guilt. I tossed the phone down, rubbing my aching temples. Stay away from her. Easier said than done. Our businesses were intertwined, impossible to avoid. Over the next few days, I actively avoided Su Qingqian. If a meeting at Dingfeng could be handled by Wang Pengzi, I sent him. If I had to go, I picked times she wouldn't be there. But you can run, but you can't hide forever. A week later, Shincheng hosted its annual business summit. As representatives of our firms, neither of us could skip it. At such events, absence meant disrespecting the hosts. At the summit, the elite gathered, dressed to the nines. I sipped champagne, networking, but my eyes scanned the crowd involuntarily. Soon, I spotted her, black off-shoulder evening gown, skin luminous against the fabric, hair swept up, revealing a graceful neck, exquisite makeup, crimson lips, a thorny black rose. Cold, regal, radiating danger. Her entrance made her the center of attention. Men and women alike stared, captivated or envious. She navigated the crowd of tycoons with effortless poise, exuding the aura of a sovereign. She looked every inch the untouchable ice queen again. The conference room meltdown felt like a hallucination. I exhaled in relief. A strange pang of something followed. Forget it. This is best. Treat it like a possession. I turned, aiming for a quiet corner to wait out the 2 hours. 2 steps in, commotion erupted behind me. Director Sue, long time no see, more beautiful than ever. An oily voice. I turned. Li Zong from Xinghai Group, a lecherous man in his 50s, thinning hair, beer belly. He blocked Su Qingqian's path, glass in hand. Director Li, hello. Su Qingqian's tone was cool, distant. Director Sue, so young and accomplished. If my useless son had half your drive, I'd burn incense daily. Free tonight? Late supper? Discuss the South City project. His gaze raked over her brazenly. Su Qingqian's brow furrowed almost imperceptibly. Apologies. Director Li, I have plans. She stepped back, trying to circle him. Li Zong stuck like glue. Don't be like that. Director Sue, more friends, more opportunities. Xinghai's strength is well known. His pudgy hand reached for her waist. Around us, people watched. No one intervened. Such scenes were common in business. Compromises, even trading favors for deals, weren't unusual. Everyone assumed Su Qingqian, however reluctant, would play along diplomatically. But just as Li Zong's hand neared her waist, everything changed. Su Qingqian stiffened. Her eyes pierced through Li Zong's shoulder, across the noisy room, locking onto me. That look again, dazed, hollow, brimming with animal hunger. My heart plummeted. Shit, here we go again. Sure enough, Su Qingqian shoved Li Zong hard. Caught off guard, he staggered back, landing on his ass, wine soaking his suit. Humiliating. A collective gasp. All eyes were on her, but she didn't spare him a glance. Her target was only me. Like a crazed leopard, she parted the crowd, high heels clicking. Tap, tap, tap. Each step hammering my heart. People parted before her, every gaze fixed on us. Shock, confusion, curiosity, gossip. Fuck, not again. Wang Pengzi wailed beside me. My scalp prickled. I spun to run, but my feet were rooted. Not by choice. Su Qingqian's stare was an invisible vice, pinning me down. Finished. No escape this time. Under hundreds of stares, she reached me, stopped, looked up, eyes locked on mine. Her chest heaved, breath ragged, agony, struggle, and an irresistible surrender ward on her face. Lu Yuan. My name scraped from her throat. Why you? Don't come closer. My voice shook. I can't control it. She squeezed her eyes shut, as if summoning every ounce of will, then snapped them open. All sanity, all clarity, gone. Only raw, naked desire remained. She reached out, not for my tie, but my neck, soft body pressing flush against mine. Then, amid the room's sucked-in breaths, she rose on her toes and crushed her lips onto mine. Utterly, completely, I short-circuited, mind blank. Shouts, gasps, camera clicks faded into background noise. My world narrowed to her face, achingly beautiful, and the soft, searing, trembling pressure on my lips. She was actually kissing me, publicly. Su Qingqian's kiss had no technique. Pure primal gnawing. Desperate, reckless madness. Her teeth clicked against mine, drawing blood. The metallic tang jolted me awake. Have you lost your fucking mind? I warred, shoving with all my strength. Su Qingqian stumbled. Her heel twisted. She was going down. Instinctively, I reached out, catching her waist. Softness, slenderness. She collapsed against me, Gasping, tears clung to her lashes. The madness and haze receded, replaced by endless terror and collapse. She looked at me, lips moving, no sound emerging. The banquet hall was a mausoleum. Everyone statue still. Li Zong sat forgotten on the floor. Waiters frozen mid-pose. Wang Pengzi gaped, phone still recording. Had your fill. I bellowed at the crowd, like startled birds. They scattered, though furtive glances continued. Su Qingqian, what the hell do you want? I growled down at the woman in my arms. She trembled violently, shaking like a leaf in autumn wind. Only then did I notice that her body was ice cold. Midsummer, yet she felt fresh from a freezer. I don't know. She finally whimpered, voice thick with tears, that I can't control myself. Lu Yuan, whenever I see you. She buried her face in my chest, shoulders shaking. I felt my shirt dampen instantly. She was crying, the high and mighty demon queen, sobbing helplessly in my arms. My anger dissipated, replaced by a messy tangle of irritation and reluctant pity. Fuck, I'm such a masochist. All right, stop crying, I muttered gruffly. Want tomorrow's headlines? Dingfeng CEO and Tianxing exec lock lips. She quieted, but kept hiccuping. I scanned the room. Gossipy stares were searchlights. Another minute, and the scandal would engulf both companies. Come with me. No more hesitation. Half carrying, half guiding her, I plowed through the crowd toward the side exit. Wang Pengzi snapped out of it. Following. Bro, where to? Hospital. Her brains clearly fried. I shoved her into my car. Wang Pengzi wisely stayed back, shouting, call if you need anything. Bro, I floored the accelerator. The car shot forward. Inside, Su Qingqian had stopped crying, curled into a ball in the passenger seat. Silent. Streetlights strobed across her face. Pallid as paper. Blood beaded where I'd split her lip. A shattered, fragile beauty. None of her usual arrogance. Driving. I glanced at her sidelong. Su Qingqian, you owe me an explanation. She flinched. Mute. Don't play dead. One time's an accident. Twice? What am I to you? Something to maul whenever you please. No. Her voice was a thread. Nothing? The whole room saw. Su Qingqian, enjoying making a fool of me. But it's not that. She whipped around, eyes red. That I'm not playing you. I don't know why this is happening. You don't know? I scoffed. Your own body. And you don't know? That I truly don't. Despair laced her tone. Since that meeting, whenever I see you, or have strong emotions, a voice in my head tells me to kiss you. I can't stop it. I really can't. Fresh tears fell. Lu Yuan, believe me, I want to know why more than anyone. I hate this loss of control more than you do. Watching her unravel, I realized she was telling the truth. No act, but it was insane. A voice commanding her to kiss me? Sci-fi plot. That's seen a doctor. I asked, frowning. She shook her head. I can't. How do I explain this? They'd lock me up. Fair point. If someone told me this, I'd think them mad. Silence descended again. I drove to the riverfront. Parking. Night air wafted in. We stared at the dark water. After a long pause, I sighed. Recently, encountered anyone strange? Consumed anything unusual? If not psychological, maybe physiological. Poisoned? Cursed? Su Qingqian hesitated, seemingly rifling memory. Strange person, no. She shook her head. Strange thing? She paled. What? I pressed instantly. I've been taking a medication lately. She faltered. What medication? A supplement. From overseas. Supposed to boost energy. Relieve stress. Voice low. Stress got to me. Insomnia. Headaches. Supplement. I frowned. Brand. Ingredients list. No brand. Recommended by a private doctor. Cutting edge research. Still experimental phase. My gut clenched. Experimental phase. This woman risked everything for work. The pills. Let me see. I held out my hand. Su Qingqian hesitated, then fished a small white bottle from her expensive Hermes bag. No label. Generic plastic. I opened it. Tapped out a pill. A blue capsule. Innocuous looking. This one. Yes. She nodded. Daily dose. I sniffed it. No distinct odor. Give me your doctor's contact. I pocketed the bottle. Tone brooking no argument. What are you planning? She eyed me warily, finding out what the fuck this is. I snapped. Su Qingqian, listen, we're in this together now. Fix your condition, or neither of us lives in peace. She blinked dumbly. After a beat, she recited a number. I saved it. From now on, you stop taking this. I tucked the bottle into my own pocket. But. No buts. Want to spend your life lunging at me? Her face whitened. She clamped her mouth shut. Also, I added, meeting her gaze. Until this is cleared up, you stay away from me. No showing up. No calls. Best if we never cross paths again. I started the car. I'll take you home. Su Qingqian stayed silent, staring out the window at the blurring cityscape, dropping her at her opulent villa gate. I didn't linger, peeling away. In the rearview mirror, her solitary figure shrank. My chest felt strangely heavy. Thought removing the pills and cutting contact would reset things. Didn't expect the situation to spiral further. Out of control. Days passed in eerie quiet. Su Qingqian didn't appear. Office gossip about the gala was swiftly buried by Dingfeng's PR machine. News articles vanished overnight, as if the farce never occurred. Wang Pengzi's attempts to pry were shut down with threats of severance. I took the blue capsules to a friend at the FDA. No match in their database. Too new. The private doctor's number? Disconnected. Leads dead-ended. Frustration simmered. Was this it? Living in constant dread of Su Qingqian's next episode? No. Had to dig deeper. For me. Yes. But also for her. Despite hating her, seeing her tormented bothered me. I decided to take initiative. No doctor? Probe Su Qingqian. I had Wang Pengzi procure Dingfeng's schedule. An opportunity surfaced. 3 days later, Dingfeng signed a major deal with an overseas firm. Location: a hot spring resort in the neighboring city. Su Qingqian would attend personally. Simple plan: infiltrate. Talk to her again. She knew more. She just wasn't telling. 3 days later, I took leave, driving to the resort, nestled halfway up a mountain. Secluded. Exclusive. Using a fake ID, I booked the room adjacent to hers. Thanks. Wang Pengzi. Source unknown. I waited in my room. Binoculars trained on her suite. 3 p.m. Dingfeng's convoy arrived. Su Qingqian emerged. Crisp white pantsuit today. Hair pulled back. Sunglasses. Aura formidable. The ruthless queen restored. She swept into the lobby with assistants and execs. I lowered the binoculars. Inhaling deeply. Waiting game. Signing ceremony at night. She'd rest beforehand. Sure enough, soon a knock sounded next door. I pressed against the wall. Director Su. Rest a while. Dinner's at 6. Her assistant's voice. Understood. You all rest too. No disturbances before dinner. Su Qingqian's familiar chill. Yes. Director Su. Footsteps receded. Silence. Opportunity. I smoothed my clothes. Moved to the door. Breathed deep. Knock. 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 No answer. Louder. Who is it? Her wary tone. Me. Lu Yuan. Instant silence. Half a minute later, the door cracked open. Su Qingqian's face appeared. Seeing me, her complexion drained. Why are you here? Voice laced with panic. We need to talk. I braced the door, preventing her slam. Nothing to discuss. Lu Yuan. I warn you. Leave. Now. She shoved, trying to close it. Su Qingqian. You can run, but you can't hide forever. I pushed back harder, forcing entry. That drug? Unexplainable. The doctor? Vanished. What else are you hiding? I stepped inside, shutting the door. A lavish suite. She retreated until her back hit the wall. I am not hiding anything. She whispered, gaze averted. No. I advanced, trapping her between myself and the wall. Why so terrified of seeing me? Guilty conscience. Proximity was dangerous. I caught her signature cool perfume and her accelerating breath. Suddenly, her eyes shifted. That damnable daze, that void, returned. Her body began to tremble. And no, don't. She shook her head, palms flat against the wall, resisting something internal with all her might. Lu Yuan, go please. Her voice fractured with struggle. My heart clenched. I instinctively stepped back. Too late. A choked scream tore from her as she surrendered to the impulse. She launched herself at me, wilder, more unrestrained than before. Prepared, I dodged sideways. She crashed onto the sofa behind me. Unhurt by the cushions, she scrambled up instantly. A provoked lioness. Charging again. Su Qingqian. Snap out of it. I yelled, evading, but she was deaf to reason, consumed entirely by the mysterious force. Eyes only for me. Brain screaming one command. Kiss him. The suite offered little maneuvering room. Quickly, she cornered me. Lu Yuan. She panted, advancing, her exquisite face a mask of agony and lust. Don't come closer. I extended a hand, bracing against her shoulder. Her body burned, strength prodigious. She pushed against my resistance, inching closer. I can't take it. She sobbed. Lu Yuan, please. Just once. Begging me to let her kiss me. What the fuck kind of madness was this? Looking at her tear-streaked face, my heart twisted. Logic screamed, push her away, run, but my body betrayed me. Seeing her suffering, a reluctant pity surged. In my moment of hesitation, Su Qingqian struck. She wrenched free, arms circling my waist, hauling herself against me, scalding cheek against my neck, hot breath in my ear. Lu Yuan. She moaned. Feline. I stiffened, half my body numb. Finished. No escape. Resigned. I closed my eyes. Come then. Destroy me. But the anticipated gnawing never came. Su Qingqian only clung tightly, face buried in my neck. Motionless, a drowning soul finally grasping driftwood. Her tremors persisted, but the frenzied aggression seemed to ebb. I froze, not daring to move. After an eternity, I ventured. Su Qingqian. No response. You okay? Still nothing. Alarm spiked. Unconscious? Carefully, I tried to lift her for a look. The moment I moved, she clutched tighter. Don't move. Came her muffled voice against my neck. Just let me hold you a while. Tone laced with plea and exhaustion. Like this, it feels better. I was stunned. No kiss. Just holding? New symptom? I looked down. Only the crown of her dark head and shaking shoulders. She radiated an unprecedented fragility. Dependence. Was this the same cutthroat queen? Felt like cradling a wronged child. On impulse, I lifted a hand, gently placing it on her back. Like soothing a frightened kitten, I patted softly. Her body jerked, Then, imperceptibly, relaxed. Silence save for our heartbeats. Mine, hers. Gradually, they wove together, rhythms tangling. How long we stood like that? 10 minutes. Half an hour. I couldn't tell. My legs numbed before she stirred. Slowly, she loosened her grip, lifted her head, eyes swollen, bruised red, makeup smeared, but clarity had returned. The horrific shriek-hung desire gone. Be better. I croaked. She didn't answer, just stared at me, gaze a tangled knot of shame, awkwardness, fear, and a flicker of attachment she hadn't recognized. She jerked back, creating distance. Why are you here? She remembered protocol. Voice raspy. Said I came to talk. I rubbed my stiff neck. Now, tell me what else you're hiding. Su Qingxian flushed, then paled. She moved to the window, back to me, steadying herself. Nothing hidden, she murmured. Told you all I know. Really? I joined her, side by side. That private doctor? Who was he? Why is his number dead? His name was Zhang Wenba, an old friend of my father's. Does biological research overseas. She said, staring out, that he claimed this drug drastically boosts mental focus and stress resilience. No side effects. I needed it, so I believed him. And your father? Knows. No. Didn't tell him. Didn't want him worried. I sighed. This woman's pride ran bone deep. So, after taking it, these symptoms started. Yes. She nodded, pain flashing. First time was your company meeting. Taken it about a week before that. Why me? The big question. Happened with others. No. Immediate. Only you. Why? Silence. She turned, studying me, probing. I don't know. She whispered. Perhaps because you're the person I hate most? I barked a laugh. What logic is that? Hate me? So you want to kiss me? Su Qingxian. Fabricate a better lie. Not lying. She grew agitated. Zhang Wenba said the drug amplifies subconscious urges. It identifies your deepest subconscious conquest target, then uses an extreme method to force completion. I stilled. Subconscious conquest target, meaning in your subconscious. The person you most want to conquer is me. I pointed at myself. Disbelief absolute. Su Qingxian's face ignited crimson. She whipped her head away. Not conquering you as a person. She rushed. It's in business. In every aspect, outperforming you. You're my greatest rival, the biggest obstacle on my path. So, the drug targeted you. The explanation was ludicrous, yet held a grain of sense. 8 years of rivalry. Defeating each other was DNA encoded. To her, I was indeed the ultimate obstacle. But why kissing? Still don't get it. Many ways to conquer. Why this? How should I know? Su Qingxian, near hysterical. Maybe in the drug's perverse logic. This is the most direct, thorough conquest. Watching her unravel, I felt an absurd urge to laugh. So I was that significant a target in her psyche. Significant enough that a drug side effect zeroed in on me. Karmic debt. Then why? Didn't you kiss just now? Holding worked. I voiced the other puzzle. Su Qingxian's face turned scarlet enough to drip blood. I don't know. She mumbled. Just now. Holding you. The voice in my head quieted. That tearing sensation faded. She paused, voice dropping. As if any physical contact with you alleviates the symptoms. Physical contact alleviates symptoms. Lightning struck my brain. I understood why the conference room lunch shocked her, why the gala kiss calmed her, why just now, allowing her to hold me worked. The drug didn't require kissing me specifically. It required physical contact. Kissing was merely the most direct, instinctive choice during Svikom. Holding, hand-holding, equally effective. A preposterous, yet seemingly sole logical conclusion formed. Su Qingxian. I faced her, tone graver than ever. We might be in trouble. She grasped the severity, paling, until an antidote's found. Your episodes could strike any time. And the only antidote is me. You mean? I mean. I inhaled deeply, voicing the insanity. From now on, to prevent you from mauling me publicly, and to preserve my lips, we might need to be constantly together. And, I added, require occasional necessary physical contact, hand-holding, hugging, possibly. My words hung. Silence smothered the room. Su Qingxian stared, eyes wide with shock and revulsion, forcing her to be inseparable from her most hated man. Engaging in intimate contact? Worse than death. I knew she couldn't accept it. Frankly, neither could I, but it seemed the only option. Of course, I allowed, seeing her pallor, a self-mocking twist to my lips, that you could choose to continue malfunctioning publicly. Give me another French kiss before an audience. Su Qingxian flinched violently. The gala humiliation was her ultimate nightmare. She bit her lip, nails digging crescents into her palms. One path, the humiliation of proximity and contact with her nemesis. The other, public disgrace and ruin. A choice worse than death. Ultimately, reason triumphed. Or perhaps, terror of ruin overcame loathing. I agree, she forced out, sounding like a martyr facing execution. Conditions, she added instantly. Name them. First, absolute secrecy. No third party learns, especially our companies. Agreed. Mutual interest. Second, physical contact strictly limited to hand-holding. saying it pinked her ears. And only when I feel an episode imminent. Fine. Prefer keeping my distance anyway. Third, she met my gaze. Warning, you do not take advantage. No crossing lines. I laughed, annoyed. Director Sue, rest assured, I have zero interest in a demon queen like you. She choked, complexion darkening further. Good, she hissed through gritted teeth. Thus, my arch nemesis and I forged history's most bizarre pact. I became her human tranquilizer. She became the ticking time bomb latched to my side. At the signing dinner that night, Su Qingqian attended that with an unwelcome addition, me. My cover, a Tianqing observer, flimsy but unchallenged. Throughout, I sat beside her, under the table, hidden from view. Our hands gripped each other. Her hand was cool, soft, not a business empress's, but a pampered heiress's. I felt the sweat slicking her palm. She was tense. She performed distractedly, nearly misspeaking several times. Thankfully, my calming presence held her together. Post-dinner, she wrenched her hand free as if touching filth. Thank you for today, she tossed coldly before sweeping out with her team. Watching her fleeing silhouette, I shook my head. What a mess. Life morphed into a schizophrenic rhythm. By day, I was Tianqing's project manager, battling Ding Feng for clients and resources. After hours, I transformed into the Ice Queen's bodyguard come human sedative. Her shadow. Important meetings? I waited in adjacent lounges, ready to intervene. Business dinners? I played chauffeur or assistant. Vigilant. We were conjoined, our soul connection. Fleeting hand clasps in deserted corners. Each touch was torture. Her expression screamed humiliation and resistance. Mine echoed discomfort. After all, the hand I held belonged to the woman sabotaging my projects by daylight. The dissonance was infuriating. Lu Yuan abandoned the West City project. She'd hiss across a conference table, icy and unyielding. Minutes later, post-meeting, in a shadowed corridor, she'd slump against the wall, hand outstretched, voice trembling. Quick, I can't hold on. Resigned, I'd grasp her icy fingers. Once stable, the frosty mask snapped back, as if the vulnerable woman hadn't existed. She was driving me mad. Su Qingqian, can you quit the Jekyll and Hyde act? I snapped once. Think I enjoy this? She retorted. If not for you, I wouldn't suffer. Naturally, blame shifted to me. Arguing was futile. Our bizarre symbiosis maintained a fragile equilibrium. Rivals still, yet, undeniably, each other's sole anchor. We glimpsed hidden facets, learned she wasn't invulnerable, saw her exhaustion, fatigue, staring blankly from office windows under pressure, discovered her severe gastritis, ignored due to erratic schedules, her mango allergy, yet she'd choke down mango juice at banquets to appease partners, later retching in restrooms. Conversely, she witnessed my realities, saw me pull 3 all-nighters for a project, saw me slam tables defending my team before VPs, saw me buy cat food for strays downtown. We saw each other stripped of rivalry. Raw, real. Our exchanges gradually softened. Stomach issues. Cut the coffee, I muttered once, watching her drain another black brew. She paused, looked at the cup, and set it down. You too. Stop burning the midnight oil. Think you're 20 forever. She shot back after catching my sleep-deprived face. Still sharp, but less abrasive. Subtly, the atmosphere shifted. Hostility thinned, replaced by an unacknowledged habit. Habit of having each other present. Habit of seeking that steadying hand during crises. Until that night, she faced a critical dinner at a private club. Infamous clients, heavy drinkers. I played chauffeur, waiting outside. Midnight passed. No word. Texts unanswered. Calls ignored. Premonition coiled. I stormed inside, barging into the private room. Rage erupted. Thick cigar smoke. Greasy middle-aged men surrounding Su Qingqian, jeering, urging drinks. She was out cold, sprawled on the table, dozens of empty bottles before her. What the fuck are you doing? I warred, charging in. They startled. Who the fuck are you? Get out. The ringleader snarled. Ignoring him, I reached Su Qingqian, lifting her, burning skin, flushed cheeks, muttering incoherently, setting her down. The leader lunged. I kicked his gut hard. Scram. He doubled over, howling. Others, assessing my aggression, held back. I scooped Su Qingqian up, light as a cloud, and carried her out. Buckling her into the car, I studied her drunken stupor. Anger warred with pity. Stubborn woman. Can't refuse a drink. Risking your life for deals. I drove, not to her frigid mansion, but to my apartment. Depositing her on my bed, I fetched a warm cloth. The instant I touched her face, her eyes flew open. Alcohol and drug amplified. Her gaze blazed with an intensity surpassing all prior episodes. Raw, undeniable desire. Lu Yuan. She seized my hand, voice shredded. My heart sank. Shit. Worst case scenario. Booze catalyzed the drug. Totals for comb. Lu Yuan. Hurts. Her voice was a kitten's claw raking my heart. She dragged my hand to her scalding cheek. Hot. Fire inside. She tore at her white suit, bearing expanses of snowy skin. My throat tightened. I grabbed her wrists. Su Qingqian. Snap out of it. Who am I? I see you. Lu Yuan. She gazed at me, dazed. Hate you, but miss you. Hate you, but miss you. The contradiction hammered my chest. Drunken rambling? Or the drug forcing out subconscious truths? Drunk. I forced calm, trying to pry her grip, but she coiled around me like an octopus, arms locking my neck. Don't go. She pleaded in my ear. Lu Yuan. Don't leave me alone. Scared. I froze. Scared. Su Qingqian admitting fear? The woman I'd pegged as an invincible queen. Hold me. Feels better. She nuzzled like a lost child. My resolve shattered. Logic versus emotion raged. Push her away. She's not herself. Versus help her. Holding won't hurt. Ultimately, I couldn't push her away. Sighing, I circled her slender waist, pulling her close, patting her back as before. Chill, I'm here, won't leave. My voice rasped. She settled, nestling into my chest like a ship reaching harbor. Only our mingled breathing filled the room. I studied her sleeping profile. Long lashes, delicate shadows, usually taut lips, now parted with childlike innocence. Stripped of armor, she was devastatingly vulnerable and heartbreakingly endearing. Admission dawned. I cared. My 8-year nemesis occupied a peculiar niche in my heart, beyond animosity, tinged with concern, protectiveness, and a liking I refused to name. Leaning down, I pressed a chaste kiss to her smooth forehead. Pure solace. Morning found Su Qingqian waking with a splitting headache. Sitting up, she noted the unfamiliar ceiling. Panic. She threw back the covers. Rushing out. In the living room, a familiar figure moved. Lu Yuan. Simple loungewear. A garish cartoon apron. Stirring porridge. Sunlight gilded him. Su Qingqian froze. Memories flooded back. The club. Lu Yuan's intervention. Then clinging. Crying. Incoherent pleas. Heat engulfed her face. Why you're awake. I greeted, noticing her. How did I get here? Voice tiny. Drank yourself under the table. Couldn't leave you at a hotel. I set a bowl on the table. Gruff. Eat. Sober up. She stayed rooted. Gaze complex. Last night, I didn't do anything to you, did I? She whispered, terrified. I arched a brow. Teasing. What do you think? Deeper crimson. I didn't mean to drunk. Enough. I relented, seeing her distress. You did nothing. Just cried all over me. Snot and tears included. Relief flickered. Then deeper shame washed over her. Cried all night? Mortifying. Come eat before it gets cold. She obeyed, sliding into the chair. The simple congee, with greens and minced pork, warmed her insides. Thank you, she murmured, head bowed. For what? Saving you? Or the breakfast? She stayed silent. Su Qingqian. I said seriously. Stop drinking like that. Her spoon paused. It's business. Business over life. I frowned. Know what could have happened without me. Silence. She knew. Words failed her. Next time, call me. I'll drink for you. She looked up, stunned. He'd drink for her? Concern pierced her. A warmth spread, stinging her nose. Why are you being so good to me? Voice tremulous. Don't know. I sighed, self-mocking. Maybe my brain's fried too. Yeah, insanity. Being kind to my nemesis. We locked eyes across the table. An undefined tension thickened the air. My phone shattered the moment. Wang Pengzi. Bro, shit's hit the fan. What? Talk slow. Zhang Wenba. The doc you had me trace. Got news. My pulse jumped. Where is he? Dead. Found this morning in an abandoned factory outskirts. Police say suicide. Suicide. My mind reeled. Too convenient. We start digging. He dies. Worse. Bro. Wang Pengzi rushed on. Police found lab docs. That blue capsule? Not a supplement. It's a neurotoxin. What? I choked. Su Qingqian. Listening. Blanched. Non-fatal, but permanently alters neural pathways. Locks onto a target, inducing uncontrollable physiological dependency, and it escalates with repeated contact. Wang Pengzi's voice shook. Escalates? Meaning? I forced out. Meaning? Early stages. Hand-holding. Hugging suffice. But over time, requires deeper contact. Kissing. Or, he trailed off. I understood. The phone slipped from my grip. I stared at Su Qingqian, mirroring my horror and despair. Doomsday. The drug wasn't about conquest. It was a trap, chaining us irrevocably, dragging us toward an abyss. Zhang Wenba's death was a splinter in our fracturing truce. Suicide? Bullshit. Silencing. Someone didn't want truth exposed. Truth. No antidote. Irreversible neural toxin. Life sentences. Bound eternally. And the sentence escalated. Tension turned suffocating. We skirted the inevitable future, yet knew it loomed. Escalation manifested swiftly. Previously, hand-holding sufficed. No more. During a meeting, she neared collapse. My grip beneath the table did nothing. Post-meeting, I dragged her to a stairwell. What do we do? She slumped against the wall, eyes hollow, gazing at her tormented face. Pain lanced me. Without a word, I pulled her into my arms, embracing her tightly. Gradually, her tremors ceased. The edge dulled. Better. She sighed into my chest. I held her, ice in my veins. Hugging was failing. Next step, kissing. The thought terrified. Hugging became our new treatment. Office, parking garage, shadowed alcoves that we embraced like illicit lovers. Each hug a reminder of our descent. Our dynamic grew complex. No more arguments. We were allies in survival. Genuine care emerged. I remembered her antacids. She brought me warm milk during late nights. We were winter hedgehogs, huddling for warmth, fearing our own thorns. The torment was endless. I resolved, no more passivity. Zhang Wenba was dead. His puppet master lived. Had to find them. Maybe they held an antidote. I leveraged contacts. Su Qingqian deployed Dingfeng's intelligence. Target: biotech firms linked to Zhang Wenba. Progress stalled. The adversary was cunning. Then, escalation struck again. We argued over a risky lead. I pushed. She vetoed. Emotions spiked. Her episode ignited. Pale, gasping. Lu Yuan. She clutched the desk. I moved to hold her. Futile. She shook in my arms. No, not working. Tears streamed. The fire, in my head, exploding. Desperation consumed me. Hugging failed. Was there no choice? Staring at her agonized, tear-streaked face, her lust-darkened eyes, a mad impulse took root. Fuck logic. Fuck restraint that I couldn't watch her suffer. Cupping her face, I crushed my lips to hers. The instant we connected, Su Qingqian stiffened. Then, as if injected with calm, she stilled. The frenzied agony vanished, replaced by profound peace. This kiss differed. No skikom, no gnawing, only tender, lingering solace. Two drowning souls sharing oxygen. Eons later, we parted, gazes locked, shared shock, and an undeniable emotion. So this is it. Su Qingqian whispered. She touched her lips, still warm from mine. Lu Yuan. Her eyes held no struggle, only resigned serenity. I think, I'm falling for you. My heart stuttered. I think, me too. I heard myself say. We'd confessed. To each other. To ourselves. We loved our nemesis. Had the forced proximity birthed it? Or existed earlier? Unknown. But the admission brought relief. Not fear. The drug hadn't manufactured our feelings. It amplified what already resided in our depths. Concern. Longing. Su Qingqian. I tilted her face up. Stop calling me nemesis. She blinked, then smiled. First time I saw her smile. Unreserved. Peaceful. Okay. She whispered. Lu Yuan. We kissed again. Not therapy. Love. Yet we forgot. Demonic contracts bind eternally. Escalation continued. Kissing was temporary respite. True reckoning awaited. Shortly after acknowledging our bond, the investigation broke open. Evidence linked Zhang Wenba to Dingfeng's vice president, Su Qingqian's uncle, Su Zhenhua. All signs pointed to him, the avuncular man who doted on her, the mastermind, using Zhang Wenba to poison her. Goal: her ruin. Seizing Dingfeng, Su Qingqian shattered upon seeing proof. Betrayal by trusted kin was unbearable. The blow triggered her worst episode yet. I held her, kissed her. Useless. Her body burned. She writhed, crying. Lu Yuan. Help me. Dying need you. Her eyes reflected primal, naked desire. The final escalation had arrived. It demanded total, intimate union. Else, the inferno consume her. Watching her agony, my heart shredded. Qingqian, look at me. I commanded, framing her face. I love you. I enunciated. Clarity flickered in her gaze. I love you too. She gasped. So don't fear. I kissed her tears. Whatever comes, I'm with you. Lifting her, I carried her toward the bedroom. Tonight would irrevocably alter us. No turning back, only descending together into this abyss of love and venom. Until the end. After listening to the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.